Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. What's going on, guys? Now, it's late or early in the morning, I could say. On the East Coast, it's like 5:15 a.m. over here. So I'm a little tired. My energy's not that high. That's why. But wanted to get into this story about. It was in the LA Times. Basically, Jim Lampley was talking about the impending death of PBC, Premier Boxing Champions, because right now it's looking like Premier Boxing Champions, PBC's experiment. It's on its last leg and might not last much longer. So he kind of chimed in, and I want to read you guys the quotes, and we'll dissect from there. So here's what Lampley said in the LA Times article. Let me see. He said, here's what he said. So here we go. I quote. 19 months ago, the whole boxing community looked forward to the arrival of a powerful new enterprise which promised a chance to restore boxing to broader exposure and greater sports world prominence. More in keeping with its glorious past. More than 500 million in venture capital was stockpiled to be put to use. In it, a daring plan to buy prime time on a wide variety of television networks. The series would be called Premier Boxing Champions. The goal was to demonstrate that there was an unobserved audience that would erupt to ultimately incentivize those television networks to reverse the equation and pay for the fights. As many as 200 fighters brought in, among them some of the most accomplished young fighters on the planet. Keith Thurman, Adrian Broner, Danny Garcia, Adonis Stevenson, and Mikey Garcia were all potential top 10 pound-for-pound guys who had been given main event exposure here on HBO. Deontay Wilder already had won a heavyweight belt. The piece de resistance, welterweight, Errol Spence, came off the 2012 Olympic team. Could it really have only been 1 year and a half? It seems longer. And maybe because despite the extraordinary accumulation of talent and seeming abundance of money, competitive fights like Leo Santa Cruz vs. Abner Mares and Keith Thurman vs. Sean Porter have been very few and far between. For the most part, PBC stars have been given faint-hearted matchups against lackluster opponents, followed by long layoffs with predictable results in TV ratings and advertising sales. You might have thought Spence's windfall audience of more than 6 million viewers in the NBC time slot just prior to Rio's closing ceremony would have given PBC a rejuvenated bounce, but in late September, NBC announced that 2 primetime PBC cards in December were dropped for now, along with them 3 shows on NBC Network. If PBC disappears, there will be an urge to see that as a devastating loss. In truth, it was predictable. Nearly 40 years of delivery via subscription channels like this one and our primary competitor Showtime have accustomed boxing's audience to seeing a continuous story uninterrupted by commercials on commercial television. The mini dramas in the corner between rounds are visible only as taped flashbacks. As live entertainment, it's not the same thing. Boxing's next shot in the arm will emerge gradually as high profile and highly skilled fighters on PBC roster begin to achieve free agency and reintegrate into the upper landscape. In the best of all possible worlds, someday Keith Thurman and Errol Spence will match up with Terrence Crawford. Deontay Wilder will fight Anthony Joshua, and Adonis Stevenson will at long last face Sergey Kovalev. The path to that goal will require the unique brand of integrity, bravery, ingenuity, and passion that fuels real boxing promoters. People who are capable of doing one of the world's hardest jobs. As we can now see, there's a great deal more to it than just merely raising and spending $500 million. Now, Jim Lampley dropped that hammer. He kept it 100. Honestly, when PBC first came into the fold, I was very excited about it. Just for the simple fact that I felt like it was boxing's chance to become a big time player in the mainstream sporting landscape here in America. Now that hasn't happened. I've had a huge problem with their matchmaking. I think the matchmaking has been utter trash. But when PBC gets it right, they really do get it right with Thurman and Porter and Mares and Leo Santa Cruz. There have been those highs. There have been those highlights to keep us, having little hope as boxing fans. But I think Lampley hit the nail on the head. I think boxing is going to be in a better position when and if PBC does fold, and you see guys like, Keith Thurman, Terrence Crawford, or I should say Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, Errol Spence. When you see these guys get out of the Al Heyman contracts and go to HBO or Showtime, and these fights can become more makeable, then boxing's in a better position because PBC was a good experiment. It was a great concept in theory, kind of to do what kind of the UFC has done and creating your own structured league on a platform where your fighters are more visible. But they've botched. They have dropped the ball on that because the fights have sucked, the matchups have sucked, and really it's just left a lot to be desired. And honestly, a big problem I have with PBC is like, obviously as PBC has been on TV longer, I've been able to find fights a little easier, but there's just so many damn fights on so many different networks. Like, you have some fights on FS1, then you have some on Bounce TV, then you have some on Australia TV, then some on NBC, then some on ESPN. It's just a lot, and I'll go out of my way to follow it because I have to cover boxing, and this is what I love to do. But the average Joe Blow at home isn't going to look for freaking Australia TV or Bounce TV to go watch two prospects that really aren't A-level fighters square off. It's just not the nature of PBC. So I think they dropped the ball as far as not having a more structured way they televise their fights. So yeah, man, June Lampley dropped that ether, that stuff that makes your soul burn slow on PBC. Hopefully, if PBC is gonna be here for the long haul, hopefully that they're just re-upping their money or gonna make bigger fights happen next year. But it's not looking so good. So you guys can let me know what you think about this in the comments down below. I'll leave the link to the article down below as well. But you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dania. So until next time, take care, guys.